I can do the little wikis in between.
Well,
I want Captain Price to be my father. Bearing in mind, I'm trying to play an arsehole every time I speak to someone, but then when I walk into Hogsmeade, I'm like, oh, it's so cozy, lovely. I'm like,
I don't like the look of you. Wait, I'm blind.
oh, thanks for doing that for me. Yeah, I'll do it for some money. Anyway, see you later. Skips away. Like, just...
I love when something just bends me over and rails me.
Hello and welcome to the Recently Played podcast. I mean, Aidan, you just completely peeked out then. You couldn't hear anything. It was just complete silence. This is a podcast in which we talk about games we've recently played. Clues in the name.
Yeah!
I would point at people, but I get it wrong every time, so I'm not going to do it.
Denver, Joe, Will.
Yeah, it worked.
That prick.
It's the podcast away from our other podcast and potentially other podcasts.
About the other podcast.
The other podcast is album review, and it's great. You should listen to it. What else? There's all my energy used up, Joe. Was that good enough?
You know what? I'll take it. It's great.
Yeah,
I think we should switch the energy to Joe now because Will's consumed energy.
I know. I'm done till the end now. No,
and now Joe's going to tell us what he's recently played.
Oh, that's a good question, that Denver. What have I been recently playing?
A month of gaming.
It's a month of gaming. What have we played?
You've done nothing else but game.
If you watched the last episode of Recently Played podcast, you'll know that we started, me and my partner, trying to introduce her to new games because I recently discovered that she's put 600 hours into Last of Us Part 2.
That's just not a game.
That's embarrassing.
And
that's ridiculous.
Before the remake of Part 2, that's just Part 2.
That's the one she doesn't like.
That's the one she plays that more than anything.
Oh, I thought she
played... Part 1, she's got 357 hours into, but that was before the remake. She's building those hours up. But
does she just play the campaign over and over? Or
yeah, that's what she does. Yeah.
There's nothing else to do. She must know
it better than anyone.
Oh,
what?
I'm saying she must know. She must know the game better than anyone.
She must. But then I've just started playing Part 2 again, which brings me on to that. And she's showing me new things that I didn't know about the game, and I'm also showing her things about the game as well that I didn't know. So there was a cool contrast there. But we did manage to tick off our first game.
Oh,
off the list.
No. Will, graphic on the screen, do it.
Dead Space 2.
Make it happen. Something flying across the screen. Make it happen.
I need to get my notes off for this because
it was all horror games, wasn't it?
Well, mostly, but I'd asked.
Will, write the word horror games on the screen now.
I'll do the effects.
Like like the word art where you could get all the effects, big curved words.
I'll just get a Here's Johnny gif smashing through the fucking door. I feel like none of you got that. Why did no one say anything?
It's a shiny.
I know.
Yeah,
I know that
nobody reacted. There was just
well,
it's because it was. I didn't understand the
I was trying to imagine
because it's horror.
I just didn't.
Yeah. Get it.
And then you're like horror, and that's the #1 horror film.
I feel like you've gone to the low where you've had to explain your joke.
I really have because my friends suck. That's why. That is the only explanation I have. Hype me up, boys.
The Shining.
Yes, Will. That's a great joke, Will.
Jack Nicholson.
I mean, have you even watched The Shining? I know Denver has.
King.
I haven't.
Yeah, I've seen The Shining.
It was on the list. We must have watched it.
No, I think you already watched it.
Had I?
I don't think we ever... Because that wasn't just a list of everything we watched together. The ones you'd already seen, you scratched off.
Good point. Has anyone else seen The Shining?
Yes.
I have, but I can't remember it.
The blood coming through the doors?
The elevators, yeah. Very good.
Elevators? That's really cool.
Come play with us forever and ever.
Literally what fucking Heath Ledger's Joker was based on. Anyway, this isn't a film podcast. This is the Recently Played
Ironically
podcast.
played by Jack Nicholson, who was also one of the Jokers at one point.
He was.
Just want to throw that out there.
And what was Joe's horror film game? Fuck.
Nice.
So, to recap on what I just said, me and my partner Holly, I've been trying to broaden her horizons. Sorry, it is with Holly.
That isn't 1,000 hours.
That's a rainbow.
And then the bigger, expanding.
And because all she's known is Last of Us, and I thought I've started her off on the best game. She only sees that game as like the only thing to play. So we started off a list, and the one we ticked off was Outlast 2. How did Outlast 2 go, you may ask? We enjoyed it. We've already played the first one, and she really liked the first one.
That was going to be my question, to be fair.
Yeah.
You actually
Now,
played
was
the first
she
one.
on the controller, or were you playing it while she
So-
watched?
Basically, it was that classic couple thing of like she'll play as
Can't relate.
until she gets too scared, and then she'll hand the controller over, or she feels like she can't do this bit. But I think it's the only game that we've both played together where it's the first one on the list, so there's not much else to compare to. But we were both like our neighbours must have like actually thought I was committing domestic violence because we were both screaming like the jump scares, and like we were getting angry as well with each other, like hide under the fucking bed, you idiot, like that. Like that.
Next door, they just started playing some really fucked up, kinky games. Like,
I can't wait. Hello, police, I think something's going on. You better be hiding under the What is a zip line coming off? I'm taking off my belt.
Fucking neighbours are like on the phone to the police. They're like, can you explain? Can you hear what they're saying? Yes, he said that. He told her to get under the bed and hide.
And
Before he
shouting,
gets her.
And I heard her shout, "He's got an axe! He's got an axe!"
It's crazy.
I heard him shout, "He's coming! He's coming!"
Oh my god.
So,
let's bring the tone down, Will.
Sorry.
From domestic violence to
Domestic.
Anyway, right. So we both played the game. I'd already played the game before, and I think I played it. I think I might have played it with Aidan or by myself. I can't remember.
I mean, it shows you how much of an impact that I had on that session.
But I remember saying we didn't like it as much as Outlast 1. Looking back on it now, it's still probably not as good as Outlast 1, but graphically and like just how the game makes you feel, like you never feel safe, like you always feel uncomfortable in the game, and it nails that. But very, very scary, very frustrating at times, because I feel like Outlast does this whole thing where it puts you in an area. There's a way to escape the area, but it is not fucking obvious at all. So it puts you in an area with someone trying to find you, and you have to just kind of wander around hoping you don't die until you find the exit. But it's all dark. It's always dark, so you can never see anything. And it's all long grass and shit, and it's just... and that's what makes it so uncomfortable, is because you don't know where you're going, you don't know what your sense of direction is, and then all of a sudden there's a guy behind you. So
like a regular Tuesday.
Well, Holly rated it a 7.5 out of 10. So she really enjoyed it. I think the big thing about the game, it's a great game, but the story is just so fucking confusing. It's basically non-existent. And
not make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. And then there's like two stories. So there's the present, and then it keeps putting you in a school where it's trying to explain some girl who they allude to have been sexually assaulted. And like the two things are like basically not connected at all, and it's just confusing why it's there, and it all just gets a bit.
Is it
like,
just the game? I mean, I always thought Outlast 1 came out in that era where like YouTube jump scare videos is what were big.
Yeah.
And so they just pumped these things out with fucking really no backstory, but just jump scares was enough to make it go viral and sell big. So its story just didn't really need to...
It didn't feel like that. It felt like they were trying to do something clever. Like they were like you know what I mean, and it didn't feel clever. It just felt like nothing has been explained to me. And I think it's one of those games that if you want to really know what's going on, you're going to have to read every fucking note.
I was going to say, it's like loads of notes. And shit,
loads of notes, but they're all like fucking 20 pages long. And well, they're not, but they're quite long. They're like 1 page long, but a full page is quite.
That's a lot of reading.
That's a lot of reading. And
That's more than I'm willing to do. I bought this game to play it, not to read.
Well, all in all, she enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching her play it. We had some good memories from it. And we'll be moving on to the next one soon, which we think is going to be BioShock 2.
She played BioShock 1?
The original BioShock with Big Daddy. That one.
So not BioShock 2.
One. So it'll be the original one.
The remastered, right?
Been remastered, and it was free on PlayStation Plus. So we thought, fuck it. Let's do it.
I do plan on playing that.
Battlefield's the free PlayStation Plus game now.
Is it? Nah,
the new one?
Yeah, it's 2014.
It's still no one's going to play it. So
holy shit. That's the fastest turnaround of a free game like I've ever seen.
Deathloop was pretty fast as well.
Yeah, Deathloop was pretty fast.
Yeah, but I feel like that was less of a game.
Also on there.
That was less of a game and more of a concept.
So like,
really,
how do we gauge these like subscription things now? Because there's so much like years ago when early PlayStation Plus was out, like 10 years ago, it was like games that were like 3-4 years old that were on there. Yeah, but now these services are so much bigger and competitive now. Like PlayStation have to like up their game with how long games are on there. Yeah, Battlefield's not a great example, but like I say, Horizon Forbidden West is on there now.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, and that's only a year old.
It's a good game.
And that like reviewed really well.
I don't know why you're laughing. It's good.
You'll always say it, and I'll never believe it.
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves is on there now.
But then they're Sony games, so like, is that different?
Yes, but that's what I mean. So the Sony games are on there after a year. Obviously, they couldn't 100% control when they go on there. You know, it's a bit different. Say if one of these services tries to get Elden Ring on there, or whatever, because they've got to pay that company to say, can we put your thing on here? It's like a pure loss for them, right? That they're trying to get people, they're trying to use that game to pull in more subscribers. So it's often like a thing of how much, I don't who makes Elden Ring, for example?
Bandai Namco.
Bandai Namco.
And yes, From Software, Joe is...
From Software.
He's 100% correct. Look at that. Look at this boy.
Probably like PlayStation or Xbox is like, how much do we have to pay them to get this on here? And then how much is that going to get in return? If it's just a loss, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I almost feel like Battlefield will be.
It's already
a loss, I feel like Battlefield's at the point now where like,
they're literally
if anything, DICE would be contacting PlayStation to be like, can we put our game on here so that they can sell more of their like extra shit within the game?
Yeah,
you know, like the battle passes, like games that have live service. It's almost easier to put them on these services because, yeah, even if we give a £60 game away for free,
we're still going to make money from it in the long run.
We're going to get people get on and then be like, oh, it's a tenner for the battle pass. I'll give it a try. Here's a tenner. Like that's a sale, or that's some money they wouldn't have otherwise got.
Literally.
I would like to do a joint thing here. I want to team up with Will, as I kind of said about my Outlast thing.
Shocker, who would have guessed?
Well, there was also a new game that came out that I know that me and Will have been both playing.
Yes.
And I want to ask Will about it because we haven't had much time to discuss it. And that game is
Hogwarts Legacy.
Harry Potter, the Dobby Prince, the Nimbus 3000, the Hagrid simulator.
I honestly couldn't tell then if you were gonna like, you were waiting to say it yourself, or if you were waiting for me to say.
This was the team up, Will, but you're clearly not teaming up with me.
I'm not in sync. Sorry.
It's fine. But I've played about 5 hours of it apparently, so it feels like longer. But
only 5 hours.
Yeah, what?
Apparently so. Like I looked on the PlayStation thing, it was like 5 hours.
There's no way you've only played 5
hours.
I'm sure I played more than that.
I've put in, like on Steam it says 21 hours, but on the actual save game it says 15 hours because I've clearly just left it running. So
maybe it doesn't tick up when you're just like on pause, whereas obviously your game time on Steam will still tick up.
That's true.
Like when Kieran went on holiday for a week and put like 1,000 hours onto Mountain Blade Warband
Literally.
because he just left it on.
Wilsonator says, I'm literally playing Hogwarts while I have this stream on.
Nice. Well, there you go. We'll keep it spoiler free.
But when Harry dies,
I've obviously played a bit more than 5 hours, but I found that when I first started, I thought it was the most boring game I've ever played until about 2 or 3 hours in, and then I was like, "This is nice," and then it keeps adding things, and just as you're like, "Oh, this is getting a bit repetitive," add something else, and you're like, "Fuck, this is really good." But then I feel like the issue is a lot of the things that they go, "Oh, and here's a new mechanic," or "Here's your broomstick," or whatever. All of a sudden, like within an hour, you're bored of it, and that's kind of my gist with it. I've not got the hunger to go back and play that game at the minute. I just want to play Last of Us.
just getting bored. See,
But it's not got me
enough to
hooked.
hook you in.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a good game, and like there's parts of it where I'm like, holy shit, I could do this all day. Like like when you get your broom, you're like, fuck, this is the best fucking thing ever.
Sweeping simulator.
And I could imagine myself spending a lot of time on the game, but at the minute it's just not enough. I'd rather be playing something else all the time.
So obviously, we haven't played that much, right? Like, I don't want to say, obviously, I don't know too much yet. I'm still kind of holding back my judgment, right?
Yeah.
I agree with you in a sense that, like, it takes a while to get going. Like, I feel like it's definitely a bit of a slow burner. But like you said, it all of a sudden just picks up. I never found the start boring. Like, I was just so happy to kind of just be in that universe, honestly.
I
like,
just don't understand why, as like a new student who's just learnt magic, we can't just go around avocadabraing everyone.
Because that would just, if you could just do like the main thing right at the start, there's no progress.
That's like saying, I can't understand why in real life I can't just,
go around
into a school and start stabbing people.
Well, I mean, you can.
But now you can. You've heard of this new place, pulls veil off. It's called America.
Oh my god! Except it's not stabbing. Anyway,
whatever you want.
I'm
like Cadabra, everybody.
Rain
1,
stabs.
2, 3. The police are outside.
It is kind of mad though.
Up.
Within a week of the game coming out, there's mods so that you could just go around killing all the students and
with
I saw
guns.
a mod that changed the 1 to a gun. Yeah, that made me laugh. That made me laugh.
Did someone do that with the whole Harry Potter films where they changed the ones for a gun?
They did.
And like put the sound effects on and everything.
They did.
And on some instances, it works really well because like obviously when they did like some spells, people would like go flying and tumbling back. So it's like someone has a deagle, fires it, and they go, oh, and
whoa. Literally. So I'm like level 21. I want to say.
What's max level?
There's an achievement for being like level 40, so I'm guessing it's that.
Right, okay.
I have been doing like all the side stuff. There's a lot of side stuff you can't do because you haven't unlocked the shit to do it yet. I still haven't unlocked the padlock spell, whatever that is. I can't remember.
Hello, Amora.
Unlock Erasmus.
And they're fucking everywhere. Like, it annoys me every time. But like, that's just games. Like, that's not a bad thing. It's just I want to do it, and I'm like, right, I'm gonna have to come back. Like the exploration of the game is fucking great. Like
the exploration is some of the best I've ever seen.
It's actually awesome.
I don't know. Like I was watching you play it, and that is like one of the biggest maps, so filled with absolutely nothing.
I
was about to hard disagree with that because literally, like, it's jam packed. Like wherever you
jam packed of nothing. Like,
you can go in every single building. There's usually
nothing in them. There's like boxes on the floor.
There's either chests or there's stories.
It's like being in fucking Detroit. There's nothing there.
No, there is stuff going on. There's always.
I do have a gripe with the game because there's something called Merlin Trials, which gives you like extra gear slots, and some of them you can't do if you don't have the specific spell. But it's so unobvious, like where if you don't have the spell or not, and you just sat there going through every fucking spell that you have to try and get something to happen, and it never does because you don't have the spell yet. But it doesn't tell you that. Like you kind of just have to leave it and hope that.
Yeah, but you can look going up to it, like what objects are around to see if it's the one you can do.
And there was one with butterflies, and I was like, I don't understand what they want me to do with the butterflies. So I tried setting them on fire. I tried leading them towards a light and tried all sorts.
This was before Joe even booted up the game.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
Don't actually. Wilson says, yeah, the locks are really annoying. So this is it. Like, I don't know. Like, this is very much like a held back thing because I still got a lot to do on it. Story wise, so far, it's okay. I honestly just kind of wanted that world. I didn't give a shit what the story was.
No,
which is
It's
weird
like
for
the
me.
Star Wars situation where because you already have that pre-love for it, it would have to be absolutely terrible for you to like actually.
Right, it is
dislike
true.
it.
Like I did, but like with Star Wars, I still wanted a good story. But with this, I honestly just wanted to fly around Hogwarts. I'd be quite happy with that.
And
like,
it gives you that.
It
gives
really
you that.
does.
And
Like,
really well as well. But the broomstick is hard to like. It's not easy. You got to get the hang of it.
Yeah.
I acted like it's like real life or some shit. It's like, oh,
There's a knack for it.
Whoa.
This is it. I'm so early in the game. I haven't even got an animal or like to fly on. I've just literally got the broom. I'm just doing the side stuff. It looks amazing. Like the landscapes and shit look amazing. The thing I would say that annoys me most is honestly the voice acting.
The dialogue,
it's
as well as the voice acting, is so cringy.
So cringy. And
why don't you guys give us a rundown of what the dialogue's like in that game, please? Joe, you play the blind guy that walks around with his wand, and Will, you be generic character, and I'll be Professor Bloopy Bloop, and Denver, you can be a door.
I've heard you're the new student.
Hello there. Nice to meet you.
I don't like the look of you. Wait, I'm blind.
Oh my god, I nearly passed out. Oh my god.
What job? It's character trait. I don't like the listen of you. You it so bad.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh god.
Oh, that is amazing. But everyone just speaks like, hello. And like every time you walk into Hogsmeade to go along with the dialogue, your character goes, and I quote, and this is every single fucking time. Yeah. There's nothing more cozy than Hogsmeade. And it's like, oh my god, shut every fucking time.
You could literally be in there for like 2 hours doing some shopping, accidentally leave, and come back 2 seconds later. It's like, Hogsmeade.
Yeah, but also when you leave, he goes, I'm going to have to come back to Hogsmeade soon. It's like, oh my god. And bearing in mind, I'm trying to play an arsehole every time I speak to someone. But then when I walk into Hogsmeade, I'm like, oh, it's so cozy, lovely. I'm like, but then everyone that I'm meeting, and they're like, can you do this task? I'm like, yeah, if you give me something back. I'm like everyone, I'm like being an arsehole. I'm like, yeah, fucking give me it.
Skipping out the room, like, yay!
It's like, oh, thanks for doing that for me. Yeah, I'll do it for some money. Anyway, see you later. Skips away. Like it's like oh, Hogsmeade, so pretty. It's like, oh my god, the dialogue is frustrating. But
so you can choose to be an arsehole, right? In the game,
you can, and there's different endings.
Does it actually affect like how characters interact with you, other than your picked dialogue options?
They do.
Does it affect like if you walk past another student? Do they say different things if you've been an arsehole?
Yeah, they actually do.
So, like,
yeah,
it depends if you've done like a quest for them, really. Like, there's a lot of people that ask you to do stupid shit, and like there's this one little side quest right at the start of the game where this woman's like, can you go find my gobstones? Some evil people have took my gobstones away. And you're like, what are gobstones, mate? And she's like, well, it's a game that you play, and if you lose, they spray you with a smelly spray. And then you can be like, don't blame them then, to be fair. I would have fucking hit them as well, type of thing.
Oh, I'd choose like the, sounds like a stupid game.
Yeah. And then you go and collect them for them, and you're like, I found your gobstones. And she's like, oh, thank you. And you're like, I'm going to keep them, though.
Literally.
Walk off, and she's like, how dare you steal my gobstones? And then
I've done it with every single encounter. I'm like, I'm going to take this, or you're going to give me something in return. It's just like, but then again, you go to fucking Hogsmeade. It's just like, it's very conflicting. Hogsmeade. But then there is different endings, so I'm hoping the further you get into the game, like the more like arsehole you can be.
How much of a dick you are or have been.
Like it's one of them. I don't know. The dialogue for me is the biggest. It feels like it's trying to be a
role-playing game, but then it forces you into certain directions.
I get that. I get that impression. I 100%. I feel like it's very face value in its thing. It's like you can be nice or you can be mean.
Well, it was the same thing with Cyberpunk when they came out. They were making that sound like such a role-play game,
like so in depth, and all your choices matter. And it's like,
at the end of the day, you were just playing V. Like you weren't playing yourself; you were playing that character.
I will give credit to like it does have like you can walk past people and just listen to their whole conversation. There is always something going on in the world. Like it's not like just a dead world. Like every single person is like having a conversation, or they'll speak to you as you walk past. Like
it does feel very alive. That's a typical developer thing to say, but it does feel like.
And at night, there's literally barely any people. And then
the thing is, the night thing pisses me off though, because like they make a big deal at the start where they're like, you can't.
Night pisses me off too, Joe.
You can't. No, they do. They go. You can't. You can't go around Hogwarts at night. There's a curfew, and there's this whole mission where you have to sneak into the library and stuff because you're not meant to be up out of bed. But then outside that mission, go wherever the fuck you want. No one's going to stop you. No one has a go at you. It just doesn't make sense. Stupid. It's shit consistency.
Like I don't know anything about the films, but is the curfew like a Voldemort-y thing? Is that the reason they have it? Like, or
I think it's just a school thing.
It's just a school thing. Like you're not allowed to go out past so and so.
It's always for a reason. There's a lot of like. Did I say it's always because of children? No, it's always a reason. Like
true.
You can't go in the Chamber of Secrets because of shit. You can't go in the secret. You can't go in the Forbidden Forest because you'll probably die. There's like all these things.
Once again, bit of an error there on
for school,
but leaving it like less than a minute down the road.
It's obviously the same planners who plan the villages in the Witcher games.
Yeah, literally.
It just made me laugh though because
don't go over there. This beast keeps killing everyone.
7 steps in that field, there's a witch.
Hogwarts Legacy is just child endangerment.
Why are you living here?
Hogwarts Legacy is just child endangerment simulator because you go into a town. You go into a town. You are a child, right? You're playing a child. You go into a town and there's like those nasty goblins have stolen all my food. You're like, I'll go kill them all.
I'll go kill them.
And they're like, oh, would you? Thank you.
Thank you, child.
Thank you, small child. What's your name? My name's Hickory Hopkinsons.
That is every name of the... That's another thing. It's so wizardy.
Timothy Teasdale's at your service.
To me...
Everyone's name rhymes.
Everything is weirdly like that. I feel like... It's very much feels like it's an American company that's made a game based in Britain. Because every accent is like... Although, don't get me wrong, there's a Welsh person, a Scottish person that I've met and stuff, but like everyone that's just English...
They all talk the same.
Talks the same.
Yeah, literally.
I've got a talk in the same game that I've played this month.
Oh, man, please do it.
No, carry on with yours. I'll get better, mate.
But honestly, like, it sounds like I'm being dead negative. I'm genuinely enjoying the game a lot, and I'm excited to see what more goes on. And the ancient magic is so fucking cool. Like, you just feel like and the combat itself is actually fucking awesome. But I'm worried it'll get repetitive. But then I watch like videos of people that are really good at it. And I'm like, that wouldn't be repetitive. You're really good at this. Like.
I think the issue is as well is it only gives you so it gives you a lot of spells and they give you the spells quite quickly as well. Like you do one mission and then you get like 5 letters saying, "Come learn this spell, come learn this spell, come learn this spell," and you're like, "Fucking hell, I've got so many spells to learn." So you learn the spells, but it only gives you. So basically, the way it works is you've got 4 spells in one category.
X, Y. X square, triangle, circle.
Sure. And it gives you the ability to unlock more. So you can have like a maximum of 4 presets. It's still not enough because you've got the rumor requirement, which requires its own set of magic, which would be frustrating to keep having to go back and select which one you were using every time. In combat, there's so many different variations you can use, and just not enough to fill those gaps. And then you've got the little in-between spells, like your one that makes you invisible, the ones that gives you light and stuff like that. And it can be very awkward to having to keep switching between them all the time.
I imagine once you've got the hang of it and you've unlocked like multiple sets of,
know which ones you're going to use.
Yeah, exactly. I bet like switching through them could be quite satisfying. To be fair, like you're like, I use all my good spells first, and then my second spells, and then I skip past my adventuring spells, kind of thing.
It's very much like God of War in that. If you like, do you know, like when you're in the end of the game and you're just fighting the big baddies, and then you learn like eventually you can quickly switch between the sphere and the fucking axe and the thing. But at first it feels like really weird to get used to that.
Yeah, when you're sort of forced into it.
But then, because I thought when it first did like that weapon wheel thing with Hogwarts Legacy, that I had to keep going back on the menu to click the other thing. But you don't. You just press R2 and the
whatever button
D-pad thing, and it like goes across, and it's a lot quicker. But I feel like you can get very good at it. Like I saw this one guy like was attacking this person, and then they like did a tornado flame thing. So it's like this thing, and then they pulled that person into it, and they went to the next guy. I was like, that's sick. But I would never be able to do that. I'm just like R2.
It's nice though because it has a way of forcing you to use specific spells. So like the spells are color coordinated, so they're like blue, red, yellow type of thing. And some enemies will have a force field around them in that color. So you have to use a yellow, blue, or red spell depending on what color their force field is.
Again, so like God of War.
Hit them. I was gonna say, yeah.
Again, like God of War, so it's very much like it's quite good in that sense, but it's
quite good in the sense that it's like God of War, but it's also not good in the sense that it's not like God of War.
It's not.
You always get these like phases in gaming where a company or industry comes up with a combat system, and then it's like the precedent for the next 5 years, or a lot of games.
They do, yeah.
Copy that similar thing. Like I feel like a similar thing happened with the Batman games.
It goes mainstream.
The first Batman came out, and I feel like a lot of other games tried to sort of copy that style.
Like Sleeping Dogs did, and then
Mad Max,
even the new Spider-Man games.
Oh,
yeah, even the Spider-Man games.
I really hope Wolverine has that combat though. That would feel fucking amazing.
It's because it's satisfying when you can do all the counters.
It's so punchy. It's just it's like it feels amazing. So I just hope,
Yeah, but or would you prefer Wolverine that had God of War combat?
No, I feel like.
Or would you prefer a Wolverine if they made it like a Souls-like, where it was hard?
To be fair,
he's not really that guy. He punches with long sticks on his hands.
This is the issue. I'm worried about the combat with that, because what else is he going to do?
But before they changed God of War, like the way they changed it too, like we see that as like, oh, that's how it is now. But prior to the remake or whatever we want to call it, the 2018 one, it was so different. It was hack and slash.
Yeah,
it was nothing of what it is now.
But did you guys ever play the old Wolverine game?
Yeah, I did.
I actually really remember enjoying.
No, the one before that, the PS2 one.
No, the Origins one.
The Origins one. No,
it
was a good game.
I don't know what it looks like now, but I remember specifically really enjoying the combat in that.
It's one of those games where it's a classic PlayStation 3 game where the cutscenes look incredible, the gameplay looks unbelievably worse.
Yeah. There was. It's only really now in the last 4 years where they've managed to make the cutscenes look like the game.
Well, no, I think it's going bad again. I think Call of Duty, the new COD, was another example of how games it's going bad again. Because that game, the cutscenes look like it's just filmed.
Yeah.
I would argue like it doesn't even look fake anymore. Like it doesn't look CG.
It was quite jarring.
Still looks fucking great.
Don't get me wrong, the gameplay still looks incredible, but because once again the cutscenes look so good, even though the gameplay's good, it looks jarringly not as good.
It's a creative design decision at the end of the day, isn't it? Because if you get a God of War, that whole thing's done in like a one take thing. Yeah. And like the cutscenes are literally the gameplay.
Yeah, and a lot of games take that example, but I feel like Call of Duty really went back to we're going to make the cutscenes look insane. And it like I remember there's a moment where you're like riding in a car, and everyone looks insane, and then it seamlessly cuts to them getting out the car, but you can tell it's jarring because it's switched to like the in-game engine, because suddenly the facial detail in everyone just drops off a cliff.
See, I didn't notice it much in the new COD because I thought it just looked amazing as a game anyway. But But I know the original, when Last of Us came out, that was pretty jarring when that first came out. The difference.
Version.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't know if it is going backwards, but I'm definitely going to be more aware of that now when I play games.
Don't get me wrong, I don't think the games themselves are looking worse. I just think, again, the cutscenes, the level of fidelity they can do in cutscenes now has gone massively up.
Yeah.
That it's at that point, it's like I feel like
real now.
I was gonna say, I feel like it is getting to a point where it almost takes less effort to just film the thing. I mean, obviously, it depends on what they're filming.
Well, they kind of did. I don't know if you've seen like pictures from the 2019, the newest COD set, but there's literally pictures of all of them in full gear on set.
Yeah, and then they just add polish in the background.
Oh, that was cute.
So maybe they did film some of it literally in real life. Who knows?
I only really noticed it with COD though. I've not noticed it with any other game.
No, but COD's a very very new. That's what I mean. Is I'm wondering, is it getting to that stage again now? Because a lot of games take the whole seamlessly cut one into the other. I mean, like what's another one that's done it really well? Like Callisto Protocol is another one where the faces detail looks insane, but there isn't a drop off because it has the whole it smoothly transitions from gameplay to cutscene, so there isn't that hard drop off in quality. But I feel like it's easier in a game like Callisto Protocol where they've got a very tight, narrow theme, and so it's almost seems easy to make things look great because it's themed. It's like a dark, dingy. If something is going for like open world realism, that is as hard as you can make it to look good.
Yeah.
Whereas if you pick a style, something can look really great because they're like, oh, they've made the green so much greener or the red so much richer than real life. So you look at it and you're like, wow, it looks amazing, but it doesn't look like real life. You know, a bit like when photographers take pictures of like landscapes and they've clearly edited it to make all the colors richer. Like it looks better than it ever even looks in person.
I think that's the issue with games and movies as well. Like, is everything's got like a color palette on it. You know what I mean? It's all got color change on it, so it's always going to look better than real life. But I think that's the point, isn't it? It's meant to indulge you in something that's not real life, and you're going into somewhere else.
He's using the word indulge.
Like it.
Wow, does that impress you?
Did a little bit. I like the arm movement as well. When you're like,
indulge.
And do you think we'll ever get a new level of clever with so you know, like loading screens aren't really a thing in games anymore?
No, not really. No.
The classic cut to black.
I miss
usually like a spinning symbol somewhere.
It does it on Hogwarts Legacy.
Does it?
It does, but
it has loading
with a door, not really. So like you walk up to a door, and if it won't go instantly, it will just do a quick little tiny ring, and then it'll let you through.
So it's like because Hogwarts.
Because then they do it as no loading screens as this whole thing.
It's because basically Hogwarts is so fucking big and it's so every room is massively detailed. So you can just keep opening doors, but obviously they haven't loaded in what's in the next bit yet. So if it hasn't, loaded
makes
in
sense,
properly,
but it's just like a technology thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like eventually, this is what I mean. The whole cut to black cutscene is gone now, but then they had this phase of like, where games hadn't really got any better, but people had just got cleverer. So it was like the whole, you're in an elevator for 20 seconds. You've got to wait for, you've pressed a button and a door is opening over there, or a conveyor is coming down. Like
the classic God of War, you climb through a tiny, tight gap this big.
So many games do that now. Like you're shimmying through a tight gap.
Somewhere where you can't see backwards or barely forwards. I wonder what could be happening here.
Yeah, so many games do the crawl through wall. You're stuck in a small space.
Yeah.
Which you can't get in or out of quickly, so the game can unload and reload. Like if you decide to go in it and turn around immediately, the game can quickly load it back.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I've got to change stance then.
Yeah.
Back we go.
That was a really good impression.
I felt like I was really playing Denver right then.
Literally.
Denver
2.
Slavery 2.
Fuck's sake.
The sequel everybody wanted.
But a game that I've been playing that does have your classic loading screens. The Metro games.
Metro games, yes. Holy shit.
I have beaten Metro 2033. I beat that like 2-3 years ago. I played that.
The first
I thought
one.
it was alright. And then I had last night
recent.
and never played it.
Nice.
Until this last month. That's what I've completed in the last month. Metro last night. And I'm now back. I'm now on Exodus.
Oh, the newest one.
Thoughts though. First of all, how do you rate it against 2033? And I will tell you if you're wrong or
Last
not.
Light. Now I feel like Last Light, to get a proper feel for it. So the game itself is way worse, but it's because way worse than 2033 because of the settings I played it on. Like, I would have to play it again. So what I mean by this is, so when you boot the game, you get a difficulty option, and then you also get whether you want realism or normal.
Right.
What I realized is putting it on normal, so I just went like normal difficulty, normal mode. I'll just play it. Everything is bullet spongy as fuck. Like, you equally get shitloads of ammo for stuff, so ammo is never really an issue other than for like one boss fight. But everything is spongy. Like, when you've got a shotgun and you have to like hit something at point blank 3 times with that shotgun, it never feels satisfying.
Yeah.
But the only thing that felt satisfying when you could choose stealth. Stealth things were 1-hit kill, but then as soon as everything was alerted, it was like 1-hit kill's over now. Back to normal.
I never remember having that problem with the game.
You probably would have. I was going to say you probably would have played it on realism.
Yeah, so like I feel like looking back, I think the first game was defaultly on this like realism. They'd obviously tried to make it a bit more casual friendly because you can literally just play it run and gun now because you get so much more ammo, but everything's bullet spongy. It just didn't fit. It felt very like,
and yeah, maybe I did play it on realism.
It felt very mid PlayStation 3 era, just generic shooter game. You know, like it didn't really feel like anything special. And I swear every voice actor is just the same person. Everyone sounds exactly the same. Artyom, the guy you play, I don't know someone who does. So he doesn't speak to anyone. Like he's one of these silent characters. Apart from
in the cutscene.
In the loading games.
He narrates. So he has a voice. He's like, so I was going through this tunnel. We just got to get to the center. And then maybe we can find some answers. But then when someone's like, hey, Artyom, how have you been? Excellent. Well, over here is this. It's like, it never says anything.
There's a bit in Exodus that I remember. And Exodus, a large part of that game takes place on a train, right? Yeah. And at one point, there's like a disagreement going on within the group. And it's like, hey, Artyom, go and speak to this guy and try and convince him of this. And you're like, okay, so you go and do that, and you just work up the door. He goes, Artyom, do you think I've made a silly choice doing this? You're right, Artyom, I did, didn't I? And he says like, nothing.
But they narrate all the there's not even cutscenes in the game. He just narrates all the kind of is actually, but they're like all from first person, apart from often the very last cutscene of both games. Only the last cutscene of. Obviously, I've not finished Exodus yet. I've only literally about an hour or two in. But the first game last time, the only time you see Artyom is in the end.
Yeah.
But like, I do. It's a weird one. The story is kind of, I would say, uninteresting until both games end, and then when you see the full picture of Metro, the story's quite good. But I feel like as you play it bit by bit, everything is so confusing. And it's like, why the fuck am I going here? Why is this happening? Who's this guy? It doesn't help that everyone sounds the same. So when they're like, oh, Petrov does this. And I'm like, which one?
Yeah.
Which guy was that?
And I know what you mean.
You did like a little bit with every character. All the missions are very short.
Go do this for Petrov. Sorry, who are you again? I'm Paulov.
You literally.
Oh, okay. And who? I thought he was Petrov behind you. Him, my brother? No, he's Dimitrov.
I think it helps, obviously, being based off the book or books. I don't know if it's multiple books, but
no idea.
You can see like the world has depth to it that it doesn't necessarily always show off until you have the full picture. I mean, especially playing the third game, that opens up like a whole other realm that wasn't even a consideration in the first two. And like I like all the little like wars and battle that are going on. Like even though the world is like fucked, there's still, even when we're all then condensed to this metro, there's still like the Russians, and then the not as communist Russians, and then there's the Nazis are under there.
Literally Nazis for no reason.
They're all under there. Somehow they're all in this metro, and they're like, these same tunnels will separate them, and they're like, yes, like they're all planning against each other, and then like in the first one, but that conflict wasn't even really that big of a thing in the first. The first one, it was all about these other dark ones, like these other creatures.
It's not racist. Don't look into it. It's not.
But then, like, so it's good how then each game is very separate, but still manages to link. I think that. So it's like solid enough, and especially now playing Exodus again, there wasn't even a realism or normal mode, and I feel like they clearly realized this was a problem in Last Light, because in Exodus everything just hits hard, so the game feels so much better to play.
Yeah.
And ammo is a real scarcity again. So I feel like I did fuck my enjoyment of Last Light by not playing.
Would you argue that fighting the creatures in the Metro games are arguably the worst part about it?
I think it's like a pacing thing, if anything.
Because I never enjoyed actually fighting the creatures.
I didn't enjoy this, but this was because the creatures were never one-hit killable.
Yeah, they're always bullet spongy, no matter what.
Like, even on realism, they can fuck you up pretty.
Whereas they are not like that in Exodus. Like if you hit them in the right spot, you can one-hit kill the stuff. It's hard, but so Exodus is out. Playing that now, I'm enjoying that, and I like the different theme, like you say, with this like train that you've got.
A bit more open worldy.
Full disclosure, I fucking love Metro. I love the Metro series.
Yeah, I remember you introducing it to me.
It's so sick.
I've never played them.
Oh, they're like...
It's one of those things, right, where I remember when I first played Metro, when Aidan introduced me fucking ages ago. I think we must have been like 14.
13.
And I was like 2 hours in, I was like, Aidan, I don't know how I'm feeling about this. Like, the combat doesn't feel good. Like, everything just feels slow and clunky. Like, the movements don't feel like responsive. And he was like, trust me, just play a bit more, you'll get into it. And he was absolutely right. Like, something just clicks and you're like, right, this is so satisfying.
I am Artyom.
I am. It clicks and you just become Artyom.
The man drops down from the ceiling. Come on, Artyom, let's go through the river of souls. Yeah, all right, fuck it, I'm in.
Yeah, I feel like the first game is definitely just, you are just being pulled along by random people you bump into.
Yeah,
the second one is like that for the first quarter, and then it kind of, RTM has his own drive after that point to keep going. And then
there was another thing that like Metro's kind of known for, and it's the decisions that don't seem like decisions. Like how many of those did you make that you would say are correct? And if you did, like, what kind of ending did you get? I don't really want to hard spoil.
Well, you see, this is it. I as playing it, I was like, I don't know if there are multiple endings, because a couple of times, like, stuff would happen, and I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't realize there was a choice here."
That's
because it would only be when a character was like,
"Oh, damn, you did that!" Whoa!
Like, well, I kind of just thought I was supposed to do that. So I don't know how like the endings vary or whatnot. I mean, I guess it's one of these things where, put it this way, I don't know what endings there are, but my ending of Last Light does not really follow on to Exodus at all.
No, it doesn't,
and with no explanation.
Right.
So like, you might want to look up the right ending to that game at some point. But it's all basically the same, bar the very end.
Right. And like, I don't know how much then equates to it, because I remember like very early on in Last Light, there's like a bit where you can, I think it's in Last Light. I don't think it's in Exodus. But anyway, it's early at one of the games where you like free people from a prison, and you can have the option to just, well, I guess you have the option to just leave everyone in the prison or open it for them. And because they're like, hey, let us out, I kind of just thought it was part of the deal anyway, and I let them all out. I have no idea what impact or if that changes anything. But there was a lot of little choices like that where I'm not sure if in the background they're ticking away at some ending, or whether it's like they seem like they're choices, but it affects very minor things where it's like,
or it doesn't affect anything at all.
So don't get me wrong, it's very surface level. Like, you have to do all the good actions, and then you get the good ending. But all the good actions are normally just don't shoot the guy, just punch him in the face with your knuckle duster knife thing.
Oh yeah, you see, every time I stabbed people.
Yeah, you just kept killing him.
When it was like knockout or stab, I like
stab. Why would I knock out? They might wake back up.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
In a ruthless world like the Metro, like, why would you want people to wake back up? It's quite funny that you bring up the whole, like, they were segregated and then they just went, like, radically. I feel like if us four were all in the same house and we had, like, a quarantine where we had to stay in our rooms for, like, a year and then come out, what do you think would happen to all of us? Like, who do you think would be the Nazi, and why would it be Denver?
It would definitely be Denver.
100%.
Denver just comes out and like, hi, and we're like, no.
What's funny, there's like a very Hitler-esque scene in Last Light. And it's just like, in this super small room, it's like, imagine Hitler assembling all his Nazis, but like in your lounge.
Yeah, or like a church, like just like one long corridor.
And it was like, yeah, it's like, there's about 20 people here maximum. Like, I hope you've got like a bigger army somewhere else, because this is fucking
Meanwhile, they don't spot Artyom walking up the middle of the pews.
Yeah.
Yeah, great game. Love them. Absolutely love the Metro games. Yeah, I think it's the weird little shit for me that I like. Like how all the
improv everything is.
Well, no, I just like all the little details, like the white mask thing, the burning the burning of the fucking, what's it called? Cobwebs. When he's got an objective, he pulls up like a fucking clipboard and just looks at it and it's like written there.
That's a really cool thing that they added on Exodus.
What's that then? The bigger clipboard. It's in the thingy game as well.
Is it? I've never.
Yeah.
I never. The thing is, it was never a thing that was needed, because it was so like, you're literally in a metro. It's the most linear, like, metaphor of linear games you could ever think of.
I think there's only one time where I ever needed it, and it's like you're on like a metro platform kind of thing, and he's like, "Oh, go get the gas can to blow up the way through," but like you have no idea where the gas can is, and there's like 6 exits, and you're like, oh, "Fucking hell, I'm not going around." And you're constantly being attacked.
God,
like,
I can't remember that one.
It's all good. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's on my backlog of games to play.
Oh yeah, you'll get round to it in about 7 years.
Well, last time I tried to do it on Steam, it just wouldn't save. So I played like an hour of this game, and then I went back on it, and it was like all gone. And I was like, how has this happened? And then I was looking on like online and stuff, and they were like, oh yeah, it's just a thing with Steam. You have to go into this file and add this thing and do this other thing. I was like, fuck me. Oh, hello. That's an alarm. Sorry.
Wake up.
The alarm at 9 p.m.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to play
Sometimes
this.
I just don't get up.
I'm just going to play this another way sometime where I've got like a free day to just smash it out, because I'm like, there's no way I'm going through all that bullshit. That's
the first Metro. How long even is it?
No,
it
this
are you talking about BioShock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so why did you bring that up in this?
Yeah, I've just realised I started talking about Metro. Yeah, sorry, that's a completely different game. I do plan on playing Metro as well. But
you're lying.
I do. I bought it. I've got them.
I'll tell you another interesting thing with playing it on Steam Deck. So the first Metro game I played on PC, it says 6.7 hours. Now, I played Last Light all on the Steam Deck. It runs fairly well. Like, you get 60 FPS most of the time on it. But the hours played clearly on Steam Deck, and when you're not connected to the internet playing it, is just fucked. So on Steam Deck, when I'm playing on with Metro, it says I've got like 250 hours because I think it counts like pause time. So like on the Steam Deck, you can just like put it into sleep mode.
Yeah,
I think it counts that time.
You haven't closed the game at the end of the day, have you? So
no, but then you don't want to have to like save exit every time. So it's like PlayStation's, like rest mode or whatever.
Yeah.
But on Steam, it says 2.6 hours. So Steam thinks I've beaten the game in 2.6 hours.
Is it on the cloud though? Have you done it on the cloud?
What, you're just thinking it's not synced?
Yes. 100%.
No, it's definitely synced.
Oh.
Because I've equally played my Steam Deck here.
Oh.
Since then.
So I've got a question. Because you've played it, obviously it's FPS. Did you plug in a controller to your Steam Deck, or did you actually play an FPS on your Steam Deck itself? Because you can plug a controller into your Steam Deck.
Yeah, you can, but it obviously has controller inputs. So
yeah, but I just can't imagine doing an FPS like on that. I don't know what it is without a controller. Like, I know it is in essence a controller.
Yeah, but you had a Switch, didn't you? And it's very just like that.
Yeah, but I felt it felt weird.
That's Animal Crossing. It's not the same.
I'll tell you what, though. Like, some games are just... Whether plugging and controlling would fix it, I don't know. What games? I tried to play Half-Life. I thought this would be a good thing to beat Half-Life on. And I found... I don't know how it is playing Half-Life with like a normal controller would be on a PC. But like, I had to stop playing it because it was so impossible on Steam Deck, where the joystick... At first, I thought my Steam Deck was broken because movement for the aiming wouldn't kick in until the joystick was at least halfway across. So it meant anywhere you looked, there was this huge dead zone. So like you wouldn't even move, and suddenly what, like really quick. Or you put to counter this, I put the sensitivity really low. But then whenever I did want to move quick, there was like I couldn't move the stick anymore. So I was like, there's a guy over there.
Did it have the green tick?
Half-Life does, yeah.
And it still played like ass.
No, but the green tick is... The game works, but it's the controller input that's just not ideal.
Right.
So, like, whether you plug a keyboard and mouse into it, plug your computer, might run perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It might... I don't know what Half-Life 2's normal controller configuration is, because some are just fucked. I remember playing, I think it was LA Noire with a controller years ago on PC, and it was just fucked. Or like when we played Dark Souls on holiday that time, and we couldn't turn off the fact that the aim was responding to the 6-axis motion in the controller, wasn't it? So that you were aiming like doing this, but while playing Dark Souls, a third person, like
weird.
I don't even recall action RPG or just RPG. But then Metro played that, and suddenly it's fine because I thought it was fucked at first, but no, that was fine. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Cool. What about you, Aidan?
I'll be honest, lads, we're running out of time here.
There's no time limit.
No, we're running out of time.
There's not.
Because and at the same time, I don't really have a lot to say, like in general. I haven't been playing a lot. Last month, I wanted to talk about Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. But then, in hindsight, there's not really a lot to say about it. You play as a turnip boy that commits tax evasion. And then you go on to find out that your dad was part of the mafia. The mafia? The mafia?
Mafia.
The turnip mafia. Yeah,
Right.
this is a real thing in the game. Anyway, I 100%ed the entire thing in under 3 hours, so it's
Amazing.
it's not that worth it. Like, it's good. It's fine.
Is there combat in the game? Like,
there is. Yeah.
This was a Jingle Jam game, wasn't it?
It was.
Is it worth playing?
Obviously. Nah, fuck no.
I've
suffered, so you don't have to.
I like how I look at it, and Aidan just has like all the hidden achievements, everything.
I have everything. In like
those shorter games tend to just have the easiest 100% ever. Because like they're so short.
You did it all in the same, like
in one sitting. Yeah, I did.
Literally.
I did it in one sitting.
Have you seen? I don't know if I mentioned this last time. They're bringing out games on PlayStation that the sole purpose is it's an easy platinum. So like developers are just making really stupid
it's been
games.
Happening for a while. They're trying to ban them though. Places.
So they are, because there's one called like Pet a Frog. And all you have to do is just a picture of a frog on the screen, and you just have to click X to pet it, and nothing happens.
There's another one where it's like
just click
something Mayo, like my name is Mayo or something.
You have to tap in the Mayo to get things.
Yeah, you have to like press it like 4 million times or something.
Then people do that thing where they attach something to the controller to make it like fucking. It's like, fuck me, how desperate are you for a fucking platinum? I don't get it.
It's almost
it's because something like it's easy. I just leave it.
It's like taping down the right stick in your controller and going on a mod map and leaving it driving around for like 3 hours.
Just like that,
But platinum in game gives you nothing but like your own self achievement.
That
so
rating, that score.
It's literally you get a JPEG and that's like it.
And score.
It's not worth it. I know that this is a controversial topic that we need to bring up another time, but like, do achievements realistically matter? Yes, but do platinums? Absolutely not. I think achievements offer a new way of playing the game, you know? And if you've got something like that,
they used to be like that though, didn't they? But they're just not anymore. Like the achievements used to be so much better. And like, do you remember like the original Last? I know I keep bringing up Last of Us. Do you remember the original Last of Us? You had to play it on every difficulty, beat it on every difficulty. Do this, do that, do this.
Go everywhere, like find all collectibles.
And now it's like all it is now. All achievements are now collectibles. It offers no.
Uncharted 4 probably had one of the best.
Uncharted 4 had the fucking best.
Yeah,
because it actually had a load of different ways of playing the game as well as like on top of just beating it and finding all the collectibles.
Yeah, it was like all the stuff like complete a level without ever triggering an auto reload.
Yeah.
So as in like you could. When you were shooting, you always had to remember to never run the magazine out.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay, that's kind of cool.
So, like, you always had to reload yourself. So, you're running around with an AK and be like, right, I got 10 bullets off, reload, because I don't want the mag to run out.
No, and wasn't there one where, like, you had to alternate between, like, fist and then gun and fist and gun for, like, a whole chapter or some shit like that?
Like, long... and then there was another one where you had to get a kill with a sidearm, a primary... grenade and melee in 15 seconds.
Okay, cool. So like that little challenges.
Yeah, exactly.
Switch to your pistol. Like they were like challenges.
Yeah,
but got reward in
the reason they've stopped doing them though is because everything's going very accessible friendly, isn't it? And I think that's why Last of Us Part 2's and the remake was so boring. It was just get all the collectibles because there is a setting in game where you can just make all the collectibles flash red, so like you can just see them. Oh yeah, you can literally just turn it so everything that you can open and every cupboard you can open is just gold.
They've taken pride in that, haven't they? And they're like, it's the most accessible game. And on the one hand, it's good, but on the other, I don't want to be like Dr. Manhattan. Joel just walks into a room and goes like, no, and all the enemies just disappear.
Did you know in God of War you could set all the drops to auto pickup?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, you could.
Well, I like clicking it and seeing.
But I thought it was not a bad integration necessarily, but I turned it on at first, thought, oh, this is brilliant, just don't have to press triangle anymore. But what it is it's still like...
Does the
it's
animation...
now jarring that the animation is the same. It's not like an auto pickup as you just run over it. What will happen is you go to run over it, and when you would normally have the choice to press triangle or not, he will just stop and like press triangle and pick it up. So sometimes you could be like, I'm just going to go over here, and then
over here, boy.
Literally, if anything, it was worse because you couldn't. It was just like the game had just forced the button press. It wasn't like smoothly integrated.
I thought it was like
always that be a bit broken.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking as well, I was like, why would that even be a feature when you can go to the shop afterwards and they give you everything you've missed in that big chest?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's a terrible feature. You know what? Fuck you, Neil.
Obviously,
why did you do that?
We say about God of War and Platinums and things, but I do feel like the hard part of getting those Platinums was actually defeating those 2 final bosses because they were so fucking hard. Unless you're there at the difficulty like Denver, but if you weren't a bitch, it was so rewarding because it kind of added like that. You had to do it in hard because you had to like really try for them because they were so fucking difficult.
It is so rewarding, especially that last one.
Joe also tried to turn the difficulty down.
I did try,
just so viewers know.
But I'm so glad that it didn't work because I remember starting that boss fight thinking, I'm just never going to be able to do this. And then when you do it, you're like, fucking thank God for that. And like the wave of relief and reward.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's fucking...
Aidan watched me till 1 a.m. defeat both these bosses.
Yeah.
And it was the best feeling in the world of like, I've just done them both.
We couldn't even scream or anything.
No,
it
was just like...
Will's like...
It was crazy. We did them both in like 2 hours because there was the final 2 things I had to do. And it was like, it's so difficult, but like we did it.
It was great. But then, like that, I think that's what it toes the line. It splits the difference, kind of thing. It's like people that enjoy doing the achievements for the challenge that they provide, providing the games do provide them, and then there are people that just want JPEG, and like the lines are definitely blurred. Like some people have just got that addiction now that they can't kick. That they're like, I'll play anything. I'll play that fucking Terminator Salvation game that just gives you 9 gold trophies and a platinum for beating it.
Well, one of our friends on Steam literally does that. Used to do that with these tiny hour games on Steam as well. So
just to get his Steam rating up,
it's like I don't get it. I will only really do it.
Like if your Steam rating is that high, no bitches, not a single
bitch.
But I only ever do it if the game makes me feel like I can. Or should. Like God of War Ragnarok made you feel like you had to.
You can still not say it. It's so horrendous.
But it does make you feel like you have to go around and get everything. And it's really rewarding when you do. But there's other games that just don't feel like you should. Like it doesn't feel rewarding enough. It doesn't feel interesting enough to go around and collect it.
Like, for instance, I don't know, Red Dead 2 and the dinosaur bones and rock carvings.
Yeah, like, I couldn't give...
I don't give a fuck. I love Red Dead. Red Dead's in my top 3 games of all time
100%,
ever.
Yeah.
And there ain't no fucking way that I'm going around finding all them dinosaur bones without just a guide. And even then, it kind of defeats the point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think so that is kind of the game, the segue. One of 2 games I've been playing. I'm going to breeze through both of them really quick. Red Dead 2, absolutely fantastic game. Love it. I think I found about 5 of the dinosaur bones throughout the entire fucking campaign, and that was me.
How many are there?
Scouring. I think there's like 30.
Is there any way in game of finding them?
No.
Like, it's not like
you just have to come across
to old
man Jenkins.
Yeah,
here's a map.
I do hate it in games when they have collectibles where without a guide or pure luck there is no way of finding these things.
Go to a YouTube video and watch some guy fucking go through it. It's so
and then that
unrewarding.
guy only knows where they are because like he's probably been told where they all are.
Yeah, it's like a fucking domino effect. Or they've been this poor guy who's literally gone around it everywhere and trying to find it. It's like,
literally,
oh my God.
These guys find the stuff like often these like trophy hunter people, they get like the preview builds now and stuff. I'd love to know the behind the scenes, but they must get told where all these collectibles are because no way, unless they have like 100 people working on it in like the week, there's no way they find some of these things.
No.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember like when Call of Duty zombie Easter egg things used to be a thing? And it like, oh, they still are a thing.
It was the most
when they used to be hard. It would take like weeks for like everyone playing the game to figure out like the Easter egg. So like, you're not telling me that like this guy on day 1 knows where all 523 collectibles are.
It's one of them though.
The game
like,
gives you no indication.
The top channels that do it have so many watches per thing, so it's like it's probably their career at this point. So it's like their job to do that. They keep
getting funded off old stuff because people are always looking back for them.
I know. Like it's just one of them. What's your other game, Aidan?
My other game was after watching a couple of YouTube videos and obviously being inspired by the recent series, the series that controversial opinion can mostly suck my ass. HBO's The Last of Us. I went back on Project Zomboid and I installed a set of Last of Us mods. Thoroughly enjoying it. I think it definitely spices it up, zhuzhes it, makes it a bit different. All the foliage and things, the zombies, the way they act different and stuff. It's like a whole new game. Project Zomboid, well known for being just a ruthlessly difficult simulator game. The amount of times I've caught like polio or some shit like in that game for no apparent reason. Like you eat one apple and it's like, oh damn, didn't spray the apple with disinfectant and now you've got AIDS.
Oh, you spray it with disinfectant, but turns out it was too strong. You've just given yourself acid poisoning.
You wouldn't believe it, but your entire stomach lining is oh no, he's dying horribly. And it's like, oh, I love it. I love how, like, there's one thing about me. It's definitely going in the Tinder bio, but I really like suffering. Like, in games, I love when something just bends me over and rails me.
That's going in the fucking intro.
I love when a game just like, it's just like so fucking hard for no reason. I like the frustration of a game. Not like when I'm playing an online game and there's some like sweaty neckbeard on the other side absolutely doming me.
Elden Ring.
Oh god, I love that
is
game
the
so
prime
much.
of like frustrating but satisfying. So it's peak.
And that's what I love. And Project Zomboid, it does scratch that itch, but at the same time, it could be a little bit finicky with all the menus and stuff. It's not implemented great. Like, it's very, like, in your face. There are a lot of just menus and shit. And I hate that about it. Like, if I was somebody playing, like, freaking, what is it, the fucking Michael play, Europa Universalis 4 or whatever. And all it is a map of the world and, like,
just menus.
40 fucking text boxes. And he's just spam clicking through them, and he's like, "Yeah, I know what that is. That's the revolution of Portugal that happened in 1213." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, cool. What have you done?" "Well, I've killed all the people like the king at the time did." Brilliant. Project Zomboid doesn't have that, but it scratches that niche of one, like, being fucked over by a game, but also it's still being achievable. It's sad that there isn't really a goal. There are mods for that, and I may look into doing that. There's no real end game.
Just survive.
And
I guess you can you build out your camp though and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess it's, if you only play on your own, it's just a camp for one, isn't it?
Yeah. What am I doing? It's like if you do your own Minecraft world and stuff. Who the fuck are you going to show? Not your parents. You're an orphan.
At least I guess Minecraft in that way, like, if you don't, you can just try and go for the Ender Dragon, right?
Yeah, but even then, like, it's not, once you beat it, you're not done. You're just...
No, Minecraft is you get out what you put in. Like you say, it's that doing it with friends, building out basically your own world.
It's definitely like a social game more than anything.
And I feel like by the looks of it, Project Zomboid is the same thing. Like, you create your own stories from like, we had this world, and then Aidan's character died, and now that's like part of the lore that Brett McGubbins died years ago. We don't know where Brett is anymore, but one day we'll bump into his zombie.
One day, yeah, you're clearing out a house and you look at the corner and there's a zombie with a backpack on and Brett's signature baseball cap backwards, and there he is, Brett McGubbins, stood in the corner, pantsless for some reason, because his body overheated from the polio, and now he's not wearing any underwear.
It's definitely something when it next comes on sale, I'll pick up and would like to play.
I think I've said it before. I don't know how the fuck I'd get it working because the server shit is also like fucking dog. It's awful.
Is it not just like client side? Is it? You have to actually set up a server.
Yeah, you have to like. Well, it's not like Minecraft kind of thing. It's like, but the menus, you'll see it. You'll love it. Right. Don't worry. But I would love to get all of us together to do like a Zomboid thing where like we're all in like a city or whatever trying to survive and stuff. I think it could be really funny.
The ticking off the things on the map is so satisfying.
Oh, it is like
It is.
Oh,
what when you search places and you can like add
you have your own like map and you can tick off and write shit on the map. So like if you go and search a house, you can cross it off because like you've been there and done it, and it's like yes.
I'm a fucking loser because I get so invested in the map part of it. Like I'm like drawing all over the map. Like, don't go in this region. Too many zombies. It's like I'm 24 years old. What the fuck am I doing?
I just want to say 2 last games that I've played. I've 100%ed 2 Lego games this month.
Wow.
Lego Star Wars: The Clone Wars 3 and Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. I actually 100%ed today. Just got a quick fire because they're just great. But Pirates of the Caribbean especially is just peak Lego. Like I've been playing through them in order. It's just so fucking good. It's not too long. The puzzles are amazing.
What do you define as the order?
In like the date they came out. Yeah, so like I've started with the oldest Lego Star Wars, and then there's like Indiana Jones, and then Batman, then Indiana Jones 2, then Harry Potter, then it was Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
By like when it came out on like your classic consoles?
In general, like release date.
Because didn't they like different ones came out at different times on say like portable devices and stuff?
I've just done it from when they came out on a list and written them all down, and just been going through them because it's like. But then I did do like the newest Lego Star Wars, but that was because there's no way I'm waiting that long.
I do live for the Will Davey reviews. Have you done yours yet?
I have done it. I've done it. Yeah, I've done it.
Oh shit! Do you want me to read it for you? Or
you don't
would
have
you
to
like
read
to
it.
read it? No, I like reading them. Do you want to read it?
You can read it. Do it in your Will Davey voice. But while you get that up, yeah, it's just a really good like. It's just the peak of Lego game. It's not too long. The puzzles are great. Obviously, I love the Pirates of the Caribbean films, being like the only really good pirate films that I've ever watched. And World's End literally been probably my favorite film ever. It's just so like it's just really good, and I hope they do a new because they've been like kind of redoing like some of the old stuff they've done. I want them to just do a new Pirates of the Caribbean game with all of the fucking new films, and to remaster it will be so sick. But
I assumed you missed out Lego Rock Band.
I won't be able to do that, and I won't be able to do Dimensions because you had to literally buy the figures to play the game. Kieran says, "Do you see the Jake KO?" I hope he's joking because I'll cry.
He is. I've just been googling it.
Oh, thank God! It hasn't started yet.
I've been like, I really hope he hasn't ruined it.
Sorry. Ready?
Oh, why is it a fight tonight?
It's Jake Paul and Tommy Fury.
There will be if you keep talking to me like that, lad.
What time's that on?
2 now, probably.
The undercards are now, so
yeah. Sorry. Recommended 24.1 hours on record. One of the best Lego games. This may be the peak of Lego games.
Yes.
This has all the best parts of Lego games.
Which Lego game
in one game? Fuck me, Joe. You're going to have to figure it out from what I'm saying. The context clues. Fun gameplay. Funny takes on the films. Satisfying. Great collecting. Great puzzles. And it looks great. Another good jump in graphics. Brackets for a Lego game. Close brackets.
Because they all look good.
I'm playing this game in 2023 and it still looks like it could be released today. I love the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, brackets, at World's End probably being my favourite film ever, close brackets, and Lego absolutely nailed it with this. If you haven't played it before, play it. And if you have played it before, play it! Negatives. None. P.S. Why is the rum always gone? 10 out of 10.
It is a 10 out of 10. It's so good. It's probably my favourite Lego game, I won't lie. Other than the original Star Wars one. They're the top ones. But I haven't played a lot of the ones in between, so there's still time.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There might be another one finished by the next one, so... Last thing...
No, just keep going. I was trying to talk there, but
sorry, you went really quiet. I couldn't tell.
Last thing, yeah, go on.
You weren't mumbling. To be fair,
yeah, I could have.
Well, it's because I was trying to not undermine him, but at the same time, still trying to bring across that I wanted to say something.
Go on, say something.
Well, no, it's too late now. You guys have upset me.
Go on. You got the one chance. 2 seconds.
Go fuck yourself.
We'd like to do the big question, but let's keep it snappy, please, because Jake Paul. Has anyone got a big question they want to ask that could be snappy?
I feel like this is going to cause too much, unless how long we want to go on for, I guess. But
I've got no big questions I want to ask.
Aidan, big question.
I had one. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, you go.
No, yeah, go fuck yourself. It was going to be in my review, but me and Will were bringing this up. I was playing Red Dead, and obviously Arthur Morgan and John Marston.
Yeah.
Not your typical hairy dads, but still kind of hairy and dadly.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys were to have a hairy dad from any video game, what hairy dad would you have and why?
There's a lot of big hairy dads.
There is. Not even necessarily that hairy, you know. Like, one of my personal favorites would probably be, like, if it was any universe kind of shit, I'd probably take Nathan Drake. I feel like he'd be so chill.
He'd be a fun dad, yeah.
Like, he'd be like,
that is a shout.
Well, this is why I'm saying it doesn't necessarily have to be
just
hairy.
It's just basically a male guy who's old enough to be a dad.
Something flew across.
Sorry, like,
I didn't get it.
I really hope she caught
it. I nearly like Miyagi that bitch.
That would have been so cool in camera.
No, sorry, lad.
Nathan Drake. Oh, that is a shout and a half.
Like, especially, like, he'd be so chill. Like, you'd come home and be like, "Dad, I tried meth," and he'd be like, "That's okay. Let's go treasure hunting."
I feel like the ones you said, Arthur Morgan or John. John was not really that great of a dad.
No, he was a bit of he was really shit, to be honest. But like,
and then Arthur Morgan, I imagine, is the kind of person who would have a child, not really want anything to do with them, but pay the child support and be like, "You should be happy. I'm paying."
Kind of. He was a bit more like a fun call to Jack, though, wasn't he? That's what we call fun uncle.
But I think that's because I feel like Arthur would he liked that he could just, he could be nice to him when he wanted and then just leave. Whereas
that was kind of the thing, is like, he literally speaks about that in the game. He had a kid. He basically banged a waitress who was like 19, and he had a kid with her, and he went back like a few days every month to go see him, and then they died. But so I think you're kind of banging the money there, really. He just sort of showed up occasionally. It's like, hey,
to do his minimum, yes, I should see the kid.
Here's bread chunks I found on a corpse.
I think.
You died.
I want Captain Price to be my father.
You're going to bed at 1200 hours.
Oh my god!
You go into Disneyland and he's like, "Son, we are leaving."
Wilson it says easy. PS1 Hagrid. Yes, what a show!
He's literally just like a fucking triangle of a man, and he's like, "Oh, that is so accurate." PS1 Hagrid.
So good. I would probably go for it. I don't know. Maybe Jin Sakai. That could come out wise and
go on.
It's not racist.
No, apparently not.
No, I don't know. I'd say Kratos, but I feel like it'd be too strict for me and I'd cry.
I could do that. I would probably go for what's this? Geralt or Rivia.
You want Geralt as your dad?
That'd be cool because he's gonna fucking look after you. He's also gonna train you how to hunt monsters. And if someone says, "What does your dad do for a living?" He fucking hunts down and kills monsters.
Notoriously, people hate witches.
Yeah, but you'd be safe in the castle, wouldn't you?
In Kaer Morhen.
Yeah, either that or fuck it, Waluigi.
All right.
I want the pork bun salesman from Sleeping Dogs.
Pork.
No. Both of you need to chill out.
I think one of the ultimate hairy dads, whether this is one I choose, really, I don't really know, but is because he is a dad and hairy.
Okay.
Marcus Phoenix.
Oh, God.
Not from Gears of War.
I would.
He's a big man. Big man.
I'd go for the Master Chief. Yeah.
Mr. John Chief.
Right, you guys have totally just typed in male characters from video games because I'm looking at that same fucking list now.
I genuinely haven't typed anything.
And both of those are on it.
Generally haven't typed anything.
I want Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He's been in a lot of games. Could he be like hairy dad?
He would actually be a cool dad, but it'd be a bit boring, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would.
I don't know. Maybe just honestly probably Uncharted Drake, like you say.
Yeah,
realistically, because he's
He'd
just
be
a bit
good
fun.
dad, wouldn't he?
He's like a fun uncle, isn't he? But he could be my
Be your
dad.
dad.
Or what's his name? Rico from Just Cause.
Rico.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. Bye, Dad.
So yeah, should we end it there?
Just any man from the ceasefire zone in Far Cry 2.
Literally.
Oh. I wouldn't be this pale then.
Anyway, we'll leave it there, unless anyone else has got anything else to say.
No.
No, that's all good.
Cool.
Oh yeah, I
Until
do.
the next time.
This will be on YouTube on the 1st of March. I don't care, Aidan. You've had your time. I'll give you 2 seconds and you fucked it. So I'm going to say you fucked it again.
I'm sorry for bringing up this amazing point at the end of the episode for you who didn't have anything written down, prick.
Go on then.
Well, I just did.
What did you say?
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching the Recently Played podcast.
And yeah, we'll see you later next time.